in the picturesque region of Tuscany, in Renaissance Italy. On April 15, 1452, Leonardo di Da Vinci was born. The illegitimate son of a wealthy notary, Da Vinci, and a peasant woman, Caterina. Leonardo's childhood was spent in the village of Vinci, where he received a basic education. But it was his insatiable curiosity and innate talent for observation that would distinguish him from an early age. From a young age, he demonstrated an inquisitive mind, fascinated by nature, animals, and the mechanics of the world around him. At 14, around 1466, Leonardo was sent to Florence to become an apprentice in the renowned workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio, one of the most important artists of the time. Florence in the Quattrocento was the epicenter of the Italian Renaissance, a hub of artistic, intellectual, and scientific innovation. Verrocchio was not just a painter and sculptor, he was a goldsmith, metallurgist, and engineer, and his workshop functioned as a true multidisciplinary school. It was there that Leonardo received a comprehensive education. He learned techniques of drawing, painting, sculpture, metallurgy, and chemistry, as well as notions of anatomy and mechanics. Verrocchio's practical approach, which encouraged his students to experiment and understand how things worked, profoundly shaped Leonardo's mind. He stood out for his ability to observe and reproduce reality with unprecedented precision and detail, already demonstrating a talent that surpassed his masters. A famous anecdote from the time tells that Verrocchio, upon seeing the quality of an angel Leonardo painted in his work, The Baptism of Christ, was so impressed that he never touched a paintbrush again, recognizing his pupil's genius. Regardless of the literal veracity of the story, it illustrates the early recognition of Leonardo's extraordinary talent. His fascination, however, went far beyond art. Leonardo dedicated himself to studies of botany, analyzing plant growth, of geology, investigating the formation of rocks and rivers, and of hydraulics, observing water flow and dreaming of canals and dams. He filled his notebooks with detailed notes and drawings on these diverse subjects, demonstrating a mind that saw no boundaries between disciplines. Although his primary training was artistic, Leonardo's curiosity propelled him to explore the world holistically. He understood that artistic beauty and scientific truth were intrinsically linked, and that rigorous observation of nature was the key to both. This interdisciplinary approach, rare in his time, would make him an unparalleled polymath, a man who sought to unravel the universe's secrets through brush, chisel, and intellect. Leonardo's genius, born in a small Tuscan village and honed in the vibrant Florentine workshop, was ready to expand and leave its mark on an era of great transformations. After his training in Verrocchio's workshop, Leonardo's genius began to flourish in Florence. In 1472, at the age of 20, he was admitted to the Guild of St. Luke, the Painters' Guild, marking the beginning of his independent career. His early works, such as the Annunciation and the unfinished Adoration of the Magi, already revealed his mastery of the sfumato technique, which created smooth transitions between colors and tones, and his deep understanding of perspective and composition. He didn't just paint, he investigated light, shadow, and form, seeking to capture the essence of reality. However, Leonardo's mind was too vast to be limited to painting alone. He was a man of countless interests, and his curiosity led him to explore fields that, for most of his contemporaries, were completely distinct. In 1482, seeking new opportunities and an environment that could accommodate his versatility, Leonardo left Florence and moved to Milan, entering the service of Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. Ludovico's court offered Leonardo the perfect stage for his polymath mind. He was hired not just as a painter, but as a military engineer, architect, set designer, musician, and organizer of festivities. This was his chance to apply his genius in a myriad of projects. As a military engineer, he designed innovative war machines, such as improved cannons, portable bridges, and even a prototype armored tank. His notebooks from this period are filled with sketches and diagrams of inventions that seemed plucked from a distant future. In Milan, Leonardo also created some of his most significant masterpieces. For the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie, he painted the monumental The Last Supper, a mural that revolutionized the depiction of religious scenes. His ability to capture the character's psychology and the drama of the moment, with each apostle reacting uniquely to Christ's revelation, demonstrated unprecedented narrative and emotional mastery. The experimental technique he used, however, led to its early deterioration, a testament to his relentless pursuit of innovation, even if it meant risks. Another ambitious project in Milan was the gigantic bronze equestrian statue in honor of Ludovico's father, Francesco Sforza, known as Gran Cavallo. The work would have been the largest equestrian statue in the world, requiring years of studying horse anatomy and complex foundry techniques. Although the clay model was completed, the bronze intended for the statue was diverted for cannon manufacturing, and the work was never cast. One of Leonardo's many grand projects that remained unfinished. Despite the challenges and incomplete projects, the period in Milan was crucial for Leonardo's development as an interdisciplinary genius. He didn't just produce art, he investigated the world, recording his observations and ideas in thousands of notebook pages, written in his famous mirror script. His notes covered everything from studies of light and shadow to the mechanics of flight, the structure of water, and human anatomy. He saw art and science as two sides of the same coin, tools for understanding and representing the universe's complexity. Leonardo's ascent in Milan solidified his reputation as one of the most brilliant and versatile intellectuals of his time. He was an artist who thought like a scientist, and a scientist who saw beauty in every detail of the natural world. His ability to transition between different disciplines and apply his innovative thinking to each of them made him truly unique, paving the way for the discoveries and masterpieces that would immortalize him. The years following his move to Milan, and subsequently his returns to Florence and Rome, were the period when Leonardo da Vinci produced some of his most emblematic works and deepened his scientific investigations in an unprecedented manner. He viewed the world as a vast laboratory, and every observation, every sketch, was an attempt to unravel its mysteries. His passion for human anatomy is one of the clearest testaments to his innovative mind. In an era when dissecting bodies was taboo and rarely practiced, Leonardo performed hundreds of dissections, often in secret, to understand the human body's complexity. He wasn't just an artist interested in representing the human form, he was a scientist seeking to understand the mechanics of life. His notebooks are filled with thousands of detailed anatomical drawings, depicting muscles, bones, internal organs, and even the vascular system with a precision that would only be achieved by modern medicine centuries later. He studied blood flow, heart function, and limb movement, seeking the connections between structure and function. Leonardo's curiosity extended to engineering and invention. His notebooks reveal a mind that projected machines far beyond the technology of his time. He designed prototypes of flying machines, inspired by observing birds, including an ornithopter and a primitive helicopter. He conceived designs for an armored tank, a submarine, a reversible water pump, movable bridges, and even an armored automaton robot. Although most of these inventions were not built in his lifetime due to lack of suitable materials or technology, his drawings are a testament to his futuristic vision and his deep understanding of mechanics and physics. In the field of painting, Leonardo created works that would become icons of world art. The Mona Lisa, painted between 1503 and 1519 in Florence, is perhaps the most famous painting in history. The enigmatic expression of its smile, achieved by the sfumato technique, which blurs lines and transitions, inviting the viewer to a subjective interpretation, has fascinated observers for centuries. The painting is not merely a portrait, it is a study of human psychology and emotion. Another monumental work is The Last Supper, a mural fresco painted between 1495 and 1498 in the refectory of the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan. This work revolutionized the representation of religious scenes, capturing the exact moment Christ announces one of the apostles' betrayal. Leonardo captured the psychology and emotion of each character, with their distinct reactions and facial expressions, creating a dynamic visual narrative. Although the experimental dry painting technique he used led to its early deterioration, the painting remains one of Western art's most powerful and influential. Besides these, other notable works include Lady with an Ermine, a vibrant portrait that captures the model's elegance and personality, and St. John the Baptist, which, with its sfumato and the saint's ambiguous expression, continues to intrigue. His drawings, such as The Vitruvian Man, a study of human body proportions based on Vitruvius's writings, encapsulate his passion for art and science, showing the interconnection between the microcosm and the macrocosm. Leonardo's genius lay in his ability to transition between disciplines, viewing them not as separate fields, but as parts of an interconnected whole. For him, art was a form of scientific inquiry, and science, a way to understand the beauty and complexity of the world. The notebooks he carried with him were an extension of his mind, recording observations, thoughts, projects, and experiments that were far beyond his time. He was a tireless observer of nature, light, movement, and life, seeking the universal principles that govern the universe. Leonardo da Vinci's later years were spent under the patronage of powerful patrons. In 1513, he moved to Rome, working for Pope Leo X, where he continued his anatomical and scientific studies. However, the environment of Rome, with the presence of rivals like Michelangelo and Raphael, and complex bureaucracy, may not have been the most conducive to his free-thinking nature. In 1516, at the invitation of King Francis I of France, Leonardo moved to close near Angbois Castle. The king, who deeply admired him, offered him the title of first painter, engineer, and architect to the king, providing him with an environment of respect and intellectual freedom to explore his ideas. It was in France that Leonardo spent his last years, accompanied by his students and his precious notebooks. Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2, 1519 in Close. At the age of 67, legend, popularized by Vasari, says he died in the arms of Francis I, a tribute to the king's deep admiration for the genius. His death marked the end of a life dedicated to the incessant pursuit of knowledge and beauty. Leonardo da Vinci's legacy is vast, profound and multifaceted, with an influence that resonates to the present day. In the field of art, his masterpieces like the Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, and The Virgin of the Rocks are studied and admired for their revolutionary technique, such as sfumato and chiaroscuro, and for their ability to capture human psychology with unparalleled vividness. He elevated painting to a new dimension, making it a form of intellectual and emotional expression. In the field of science and engineering, his notebooks, though unpublished in his lifetime, reveal a mind that anticipated discoveries and inventions by hundreds of years. His research in anatomy was revolutionary. His observations on bird flight and water mechanics laid the foundations for aerodynamics and hydraulics. His designs for flying machines, armored vehicles, movable bridges, and complex gear systems are a testament to his futuristic vision and his deep understanding of mechanical principles. He is frequently considered a precursor to modern engineering. Leonardo's true greatness lies in his interdisciplinary approach. He did not see art and science as separate disciplines, but as complementary paths to understanding the universe. For him, the artist's eye and the scientist's mind were inseparable, both seeking truth and beauty in nature. This synthesis between the empirical and the aesthetic is his greatest contribution to Western thought, inspiring generations of thinkers to break down barriers between fields of knowledge. Despite his vast genius, Leonardo's life is also surrounded by mysteries and legends. The fact that many of his notebooks remained unpublished for centuries, and that many of his inventions were not built in his lifetime, fueled the idea that he was a genius lost in time. Questions about his sexuality, the whereabouts of certain lost works, and the hidden meaning in his works continue to fascinate researchers and enthusiasts. Leonardo da Vinci is more than an artist or a scientist. He is the archetypal polymath, the symbol of the human quest for excellence in multiple fields. His insatiable curiosity, his capacity for observation, and his ability to connect seemingly disparate ideas continue to inspire and challenge the limits of what is possible. The Renaissance man who unlocked secrets of the human body and dreamed of flying machines centuries before their invention remains an inexhaustible source of admiration, a reminder that the human mind, when free and curious, has no limits. Leonardo da Vinci was an incomparable genius whose mind transitioned between art and science, leaving an immense legacy. Which of his works or inventions impresses you most? Do you believe that if Leonardo lived today, he would be a scientist and artist, or would he continue to transition between various fields of knowledge? Share your opinion in the comments. And if there's another historical figure who revolutionized their field, or a period of great innovation, that you'd love us to explore in our next video, leave your suggestion below. Your curiosity is our guide to unraveling the great stories of the world.